Even though through 3 games the New England Patriots have looked very good, there are still a few concerns to discuss. I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Alex Barth and Evan Lazar. In Game 3, there were a couple injuries that were concerning, a couple mishaps on special teams, but we'll start with that. In Stephen Gostkowski with you.
Yeah, Stephen Gostkowski is the big one. Okay, relax. He missed the extra point. I've been a big Gostkowski defender. It is getting a little tough. You go back to 2015 when they moved that extra point back. He was 55 for 55 that season, going into that kick in Denver, going into that final extra point. Misses that. Since then, 124 of 148. He's gone down from 98% to 89%. So you have to wonder if that kick from, 4 years ago, is still maybe in his head a little bit. He switched to the right hash after he missed that extra point today. He was fine from there, including a field goal that he made from the left hash. So, he's doing better, but they're going to need those points when they get into games against teams like the Raiders, against teams like the Ravens, against teams like the Chiefs. They're going to need those points, so it's something to monitor. On Gunner, too, you mentioned the mishaps. Everybody gets one. I know a lot of people thought back to Riley McCarron, and he got cut based on one muffed punt. It's unfortunate that it happened. It's unfortunate the Jets scored, but the Patriots threw him back out there a couple more times. He was fine. It's not what you want to see, but I think he has a bit of a leash there.
Yeah, I don't think this is a Riley McCarron situation for Gunner. But another concerning part of Sunday's game against the Jets were the injuries. We mentioned previously that Julian Edelman went to the locker room right before halftime and never returned. He was questionable and then ruled out. A positive development, though, after the game, he got x-rays on his rib. It was a rib chest issue, and they came back negative, so an early positive sign. And then another kind of surprising injury was Dante Hightower came out as had a shoulder injury. No one saw it really during the game. There hasn't been video that has come out as of yet that we've seen, but definitely something to monitor. And we also mentioned Josh Gordon with the finger injury. Obviously, he came back in and was fine, but still sore, still banged up. Adam Butler seems to be fine, but a couple players, it's week 3, these nagging injuries kind of start to pile on, so definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, and really, these are glorified preseason games, if we're being honest.
Glorified might be a stretch.
Next week against Buffalo is a real game, but other than that, this game against the Giants coming up, the game against the Redskins coming up, some tomato cans out there for the Patriots.
Yes, certainly.
They just need to get through this stretch healthy. That's really all that it boils down to, is just they've already had a couple of injuries that are unfortunate. Obviously, Isaiah Wynn is probably the biggest one, and today they had a few injuries. Just get through this stretch healthy, and then let's worry about the end of the season.
I will say, though, this is kind of what happened last year, where they got banged up early, and you started to worry about it, and that injury list was getting longer and longer and longer, and then all of a sudden, it's like the end of November, beginning of December, right after Thanksgiving, boom, everybody's healthy.
That's football.
Right, it's the NFL. The injuries are going to rack up. You hope that it's another case where Thanksgiving suddenly mysteriously just cures everything. You can't bank on it, but we've seen this script before, at least the way it's playing out.
And Evan, quickly touch on what we saw from the offense. They seemed to stall towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I think the running game is the biggest thing that I'm kind of concerned about right now. They can't run the ball. And again, they can't run the ball against bad teams, which is never really a good sign. But I think the biggest thing with the running game that I'm noticing, a lot of people want to talk about the predictability with Sony Michel. They were just as predictable as Sony Michel down the stretch last year, and they were still able to run the football because of the blocking up front. The blocking up front, quite frankly, just hasn't been as good as it was last year. Obviously, they have the right guy leading the way in Dante Scarnecchia to figure this whole thing out. But as of right now, the injuries on the offensive line, the injury to James Devlin, I think without having Rob Gronkowski out there as well blocking, all those things are adding up right now to this running game not being necessarily a strength of this team right now. Going into today, they were pretty good in short yardage, but then today they left some short yardage plays out there too. So I think the offensive line as a whole said, we started great, but that finish is unacceptable. They all really kind of are acknowledging the fact that the running game and the way that they finished the game offensively wasn't what they wanted.
And this FOXBORO Report is brought to you by our exclusive sports betting partners at betonline.ag. Head to their website, enter promo code CLNS50 to receive your welcome bonus. For all of our Patriots content, head to our website at clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel at CLNS Media.